Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, E-Steam Goddess of. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a demonic dominatrix in this action-packed all-new E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam Goddess of in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Yesterday, the state of Alabama became the second state to place restrictions on abortion here in America. And after the state of Georgia restricted abortions after the 6th week of pregnancy, the state of Alabama has decided to outlaw all abortions inside of the state of Alabama and not making any exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the mother. Now, many people who were upset about the new abortion law in Alabama are pointing fingers at the male legislators who voted for the law. And them pointing the fingers at those men shows how completely clueless many people are as related to gynocentrism here in America. Because the actual people who wrote the abortion law in the state of Alabama were women, and it was a woman who proposed this abortion law. Moreover, in addition to a woman proposing the law, it was a woman governor who went out of her way to sign this abortion bill into law. So most people who are pointing fingers at those male legislators, they really need to start taking a critical look at the women who went out of their way to restrict a woman's so-called right to choose. Because it looks like it's women who are the ones who are behind all of this attempts to control abortion and try to restrict abortions here in America. And it's women trying to take away a woman's so-called right to choose. And it is women trying to take control over other women's bodies when we take a more critical examination of the state of Georgia and the state of Alabama. But the mainstream media won't tell you about the women in the state of Georgia and the state of Alabama who proposed these laws to restrict a woman's so-called right to choose, and it will not tell people that it was women who were trying to make choices over other women's bodies with this legislation. They have everybody believing that it is men who were the ones who made these efforts to try to restrict a woman's so-called right to choose, when in actuality it was women who proposed these laws. It was women who went and in the state of Georgia, who were a part of the city council, not the city council, but the state senate and the state legislature who voted for these laws. And in the state of Alabama, it was a woman who signed this bill into law. So you have all of these feminists out here, and they point the fingers at men. But it's clear to me that when I look at the picture objectively, I see the gynocentrism behind the scenes, and I see efforts by many of those males there to please the females and give the females the abortion laws that they wanted, the same females who want to restrict a woman's choice, because when it comes down to many older females, they want to control the younger females because they fear competition from those females. So when it comes down to this abortion law and this attempt and these efforts to try to restrict a woman's so-called right to choose, it looks like older women are trying to make efforts to control younger women and trying to take away their right to so-called choose by making the choices for them so that they won't have to compete with those younger women for resources. But this is something that the mainstream media won't tell you, because when it comes down to our gynocentric media, many of the females, they want to make the discussion all about the evil men behind the scenes, when it's actually women who are the ones who are manipulating and controlling the picture behind the scenes as related to this abortion debate. And it looks like it's more and more women looking like they're wanting to try to take away a woman's so-called right to choose and take away control over the younger women's bodies, because these older women don't want to compete with these younger women, and many of them want to sabotage these younger women's chances at having relationships, because if these younger women can't be happy, they want to make them just as miserable as they are. So these females are making efforts to sabotage them, because many of them know that they have aged out, they have no options, and they want to take away these other women's options overall. Now, my view on the whole abortion debate is that when it comes down to women, they need to be better educated in sex education, and they need to understand about the actual choice they have to make. Because when it comes down to the feminist, what she wants you to do is make you think that it's about a woman's right to choose, either to choose to support abortion or not, when in actuality, women need to be taught to choose whether or not they want to follow the living God. And the reason why I say they need to choose whether or not they want to follow the living God is because the living God made a standard as related to sex. And I believe that because so many women are miseducated on sex by these feminists who have told them that it is their body and their choice, that they are going out here having sexual relations, not understanding that the living God has clearly stated that fornication is a sin, and that fornication is the only sin you can commit with your own body. So when it comes down to women, they have been miseducated by these feminists to believe that it is their body and their choice, when in the actuality they need to choose whether they want to serve the living God and choose to have sex with only their husband and then have that relations, or to not choose and then go outside of the order of the living God and go out here and have sex with any sort of man out there. And usually that's how these women get pregnant, is because they make really poor choices to get involved with the wrong men, and that's what leads to them having these unwanted pregnancies. And a lot of people will think that the problem is abortion, when in actuality the problem is fornication, and fornication because most Americans have been miseducated on sex, and because of American sexual shame, most people remain miseducated on sex because they don't want to talk about sex in a healthy and normal way, where we talk about how fornication is a sin and how fornication is bad, because a woman just having random sex with different men, this is what puts her not only at risk for pregnancy, it puts her at risk for sexually transmitted diseases, and it also damages her mental health, because as it states in the Bible, when a man and woman have sex together, the two become one, and that woman winds up taking over the DNA of that man inside of her, and part of his spirit becomes part of her. And that's why so many women have mental issues these days, because the average American woman these days has had over 80 sexual partners. And if you've had over 80 sexual partners, that means you have so many spirits inside of a woman that they literally, like the legion that Jesus talked about when he had that interaction with that man with so many demons inside of him. And that's what happens to many of these women. They literally are like a legion, and that they have so many spirits inside of them that it causes them to have mental illness. But when I take a critical look at this whole abortion debate, and I see that it's not men trying to restrict a woman's right to choose over what she wants to do with her body as related to these abortions, it is a growing group of women. And what those women want to do is make the man look like he's the bad guy, when in actuality, they are the villain in the situation, and they are the ones who are looking to take away women's rights, because when it comes down to older women, they want to control younger women, and they want to take away that woman's right to choose how she wants to live. And even worse, they don't want to teach the younger women, because when it comes down to many of these older women, they are jealous of younger women's youth and beauty and ability to attract younger men or richer men. So they want to find ways to try to control those women so they won't have any direct competition for them for resources. So that's where this legislation is going. And a lot of people think that it's a issue of men trying to take away women's rights, when in actuality, this is a new turn of the gynocentric Godzilla and a new turn for gynocentrism, because it shows that along with the Me Too movement, we have a growing group of older women trying to make it life harder for younger women. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to try some of my SJS Direct publications, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.